of massage parlors to require that all persons who provide massages at such establishments be licensed by the state as massage therapists. At this time, I am going to yield the chair to the appropriate committee's chairperson, Chairman Mike Cranford, who will preside over this meeting. You are directed to please respond to his direction. Ms. Cranford.
Thank you, Madam President. Welcome everybody here. My name is Mike Cranford. I'm chairman of the Appropriations Committee. And the reason that we had this public hearing is because we've had this legislation that we've been dealing with in the Appropriations Committee for quite some time, and we're in the process of finalizing it. We have had meetings in committee, and it was suggested that we have a public meeting. We do have a meeting to go to after this is over with, and I know we've got a full house here, and we want to afford everybody the opportunity to be heard. But the bottom line is we got some that's for this legislation and some that's against this legislation. So in the interest of time, what I would like to ask is that the folks that are in favor of this legislation pick three among you who could best describe their position, so to speak, and speak accordingly. And then those that are against this legislation, however many there happens to be, can also pick three people to speak against this legislation if they choose to do so. And this might make this hearing go a little bit faster. Traditionally, we limit our speakers to 3 minutes worth of time. If you need additional time, you're certainly welcome to ask for it, and the committee can decide whether or not we have time to give you extra time. But I just ask that you be precise, you stick to the facts that you want to present to us, to the Appropriations Committee, and because obviously with this many people here, we're going to have a lot of redundancy, and that's what I'm trying to avoid. So first off, I'd let folks who are in favor of this legislation, if you want to look amongst yourselves, so to speak, and pick three members that wish to stand up and speak, you do so accordingly. All right, we have a volunteer in the front row that just stood up. That's the way it's going to work, so, yeah.
I was actually going to ask the rest of my group if they wanted me to, but, okay.
Thank you, Ray. And if you would, please, as you approach, would you please state your name, and if you're representing any group or entity or something like this, we'd appreciate if you would give us that information also. Thank you very much, and you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Cranford. My name is David Cooke. I'm an assistant district attorney in the House and Judicial Circuit, and I'm chief of the Special Victims Unit. I'm also, in full disclosure, a candidate for district attorney in this circuit, and this is my primary issue. I'm a member of NG Alert, the Middle Georgia Alliance to End Regional Trafficking, so I am associated with them and I support their mission. But I'm not speaking so much in those capacities tonight as I am as a husband and father and a citizen of this city. As a husband and father, I don't like seeing those billboards on the side of the road. And I don't like having to explain to my children what they mean. And what they mean our city is letting go on here. As a husband and father, I would hope that if one of my daughters were in another country, that they could get the full protection of the laws and they could get the full effort of every lawmaking body to help them if they were in this same situation. Now, people who study this issue, the experts, recognize that the women working in these, and girls, the women and girls I should say, some of them are under 18, Most of them are trafficked. That is, they're not involved willingly. There's some degree of force or coercion. They're not free to move about. There are things that are keeping them from being able to go home when they want. Many of them live there. This legislation is another tool in the toolbox to make these things stop. We need to use every tool. I'm not suggesting that this is the only thing that needs to be done to address what is in effect sexual slavery. But we need to use every tool at our disposal. Now, some people say, you know, there's other issues. There are other important issues that we need to take up. One of the benefits of actually passing this legislation is that it will free up law enforcement to do other things, because when you have these types of measures passed, as it has been passed in other communities, they don't have the massage parlors anymore. And when I say massage parlors, I'm not referring to legitimate massage and people honestly practicing a type of medicine or a type of therapy. What I'm talking about is what we all know is essentially prostitution.
Thank you. That was your 3 minutes. All right. That has to come from the committee. This is actually an appropriations committee meeting. Okay, we got a motion and a second from the committee to allow you to continue for a couple more minutes. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. That's the appropriation. Okay, thank you. Please continue.
Thank you. I appreciate your indulgence. Folks, I just want to say, there are women and children out there who are depending upon you. And I'm not just talking about people who are in the back of a station wagon or a minivan. What I'm talking about is the women and the children who are working against their will in modern day slavery. If those were our daughters, our sisters, our mothers in another country, we would want them to take care of them. And all we're asking is that this body do the same thing in passing this legislation. So, as a husband and father, I ask you to pass this measure. Thank you so much.